A once proud army stands at its weakest point in nearly 2 centuries. A nation that was built on military exploits is now struggling to fill up its ranks. And the numbers reveal a crisis that Britain can no longer hide. The British military today is the weakest that it has been in living memory. Take a look at the sport.
Britain's armed forces are shrinking, not swelling. The fight-ready corps hits a historic low. Questions multiply: is the nation ready for tomorrow's battles? In an entire year, the British Army added just 240 new soldiers, a number smaller than a single infantry company. Recruitment stalls. Britain's fully trained troop count has collapsed to its lowest level in 200 years. The government pledged to strengthen the forces, rebuild regiments, and reverse years of cuts. Instead, the Army shrinks. The Royal Navy struggles to crew its warships. The RAF faces shortages from pilots to technicians. Across the board, Britain's military muscle is thinning, but London vows to boost its spending.
So like those who came before us, we rearm in the face of threats, we confront dictators, and we boost our defense industry. And in the process, we can unite our country around this common purpose. That's what this budget will be about. Strong foundations to secure Britain's future.
UK military chiefs question how to rebuild defense as funding fails to meet requirements amid rising threats from Russia and China and pressure from NATO allies. British military equipment are failing. Newly delivered Ajax armored vehicles, costing millions of pounds each, were rushed into a staging area. Within 48 hours, the noise and vibration had knocked over 30 troops out of action, medically evacuated, shaking, nauseous. Reports reveal a harsh truth. Young Britons simply don't want to join. Military careers no longer lure recruits in a booming tech and service economy. Pay battles, housing troubles, and long overseas deployments push candidates away. The price of this neglect is clear. Britain's defensive capabilities are diminished. The threat is real, but the future looks grim. Bureau reports, we are. World is one.
Alright, so shalom, shalom, shalom. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so first and foremost, Kal Halayam, La Alahayanawa, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash, Barakata, Yahweh Barakata, Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutation unto the brothers, who preaching and teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so no more than ever, yeah? Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, along with the very few but faithful Akwat. We say shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, what a shame, Great Britain. What a shame. Alright, this here is a shame. It's a shameful sight. A shameful, position that you all are in. Alright, the Great Britain having its lowest recorded yearly recruitment, alright, of at least 240 or 90 or something like that, so troops, all right, for the year. That's really shameful. All right, that's really shameful. And to think about it, that you guys want to go up in war against Russia. To think about it, you guys want to go to war against Russia and what have you, so forth. when you don't even have the manpower, alright? When you don't even has the manpower, Russia has some like what, almost 2 million or at least close to 3 million, I believe, active duty soldiers, and we didn't even talk about the reservists as yet, alright? And how many more military age men, you know, that they could pull in via a draft, alright, to replenish the ranks, alright, within its military, whether it be the Navy, whether it be the Air Force, alright, whether it be the Army, whatnot, so forth. Okay, there's what it is. So just look at that. A nation such as Great Britain, alright, who conquered, alright, the world, alright, had such a great empire, a vast empire, alright, that was accomplished via their military might, alright. To here now in 2025, and they are their weakest, alright, because over the years they have been shrinking their military and what have you, so forth. Yeah, they have been shrinking their military. Now they are at great concern because they know that they are going into World War III. Alright, they know they're going to be going up against the Russians and what have you, so forth, and they do not have the bodies, alright, to throw into the meat grinder. So what do you think is going to take place? They will have no choice but to call a military draft, you know, a compulsory service, alright, where able-bodied military age men at particular age, within a particular age group, alright, will be conscripted into the military in order to go up against the Russians. Alright, but you see, there's a lot of things that you have to take into factor pursuant to why, you know, these men, alright, these young men within Great Britain, you know, within Wales, Northern Ireland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and England, why they have no interest, you know, they have no interest in joining the military, alright. Salaries is one, you know, so you know the payment, you know, the monthly payment, you know, for soldiers, you know, and what have you, so forth, you know, it's not encouraging, all right. And as you heard the reporter said, you know, housing and what have you, so forth, you know, hey. And I'm sure they go through the same thing as in Babylon the Great, you know, America, where the veterans, you know, the veterans, they're not being well taken care of. All right, they go and fight all these forever wars. All right, come back all fucked up in the head and what have you, so forth, all strung up on drugs and all these things. All right, or you know, PTSD and all these things, you know, and the government just treat them like trash. Alright, send them into a hellhole. Alright, send them into serious combat. Alright, deployment after deployment after deployment, and when it's time for them to, you know, to retire or whatever, you know, the government ain't doing squat for them. The government ain't doing shit for them, you know. Soldiers, a lot of soldiers strung out on drugs and the homeless and what have you, so forth. These are the things, these are the factors that, you know, you have to look at, you know, in what discourages, you know, the men to really, you know, make up their mind to go and join the military, you know, as a career. Yeah, there's what it is. That's why the Lord said, when I go to let's go to the scripture here. Let's go to the scripture, because the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, he hates that, you know, where, you know, he hates that where, you know, men, You know, soldiers, they go out to fight. Yeah, they go out to fight and comes back. Wrong scripture, wrong chapter. They go out to fight and come back, and you know, they're not being seen about. Alright, they're not being seen about. Okay. This is Sirach 26 and 28. It reads, there be two things that grieve my heart. Alright. And the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty. Alright. And this is a main thing, a main factor. Alright. A main factor in why, you know, in why a lot of these young men within Great Britain do not want to go into the military, in any branch of the military for that matter, because they see, alright, they see their predecessors before them, you know, and how they are being treated here today now. Alright? They're seeing that. Okay? They're seeing what has taken place. They're seeing that, you know, they're going out there. A lot of men coming back, you know, hooked on drugs and what have you, so forth. You know how much soldiers, British soldiers who went and fought in Afghanistan, you know, and what have you, so forth, come back hooked on opium and what have you, so forth, you know, because that is our main export within Afghanistan. All right, opium we used to the main thing there, you know, from these poppy plants, in where, you know, the core ingredient for what I call this drug by heroin. All right, a lot of soldiers come back hooked on heroin and what have you, so forth, you know, and there's nothing to really, you know, for them to lean back on, you know, nothing for them to help them, you know, reintegrate within society and what have you, so forth. You understand? So these are the factors. These are the factors that you have to look into, that you really have to take into consideration, you know, and why they have such a low recruitment rate. This is the lowest that they have ever seen within a year. 250 or 60 or something like that. That is a shame. The mighty Great Britain, yeah. Hey, right now America and all, they're going through that same thing. All right, America and all going through that same thing, you know, where they're trying to meet a particular quota. All right, I think like something like 30,000 troops or something like that per year, you know, and they're not even making quarter that, you know. The recruitment centers, you know, it's not a big rush, because you see our next thing too that has to play part in it too, you know. The world is really seeing the true essence of these wars, you know, where these politicians these politicians, you know, these lying politicians, all right, is dragging these young men and young women into these wars, these unnecessary wars, all right, to go and fight on lies, you know, on basis of just bare lies. All right. A lot of them, the cat is out the bag. All right. The world know that it wasn't no weapons and no mass destruction why the U.S. went into Iraq. All right. The world know that the Taliban had nothing to do with 9/11, and 9/11 was an inside job. You understand? All right. The world know. The world know that you know, as I said, 9/11 was an inside job. All right, and a lot of young men and young women died for nothing. All right, died for nothing, all for the cause of what? Of greed, of these greedy politicians and these greedy oligarchs and what have you, so forth. You know, that that is just all about filling their pockets. All right, so the young men, these young men and what have you, so forth, they don't want to go and die. They're not stupid. They're not going to join no military to go and fight no war, all right? No conjure up war that these politicians just conjure up out of thin air, all right? Which is really to feed these, to feed these politicians. There's where it is. So as it says, I'm reading it over again, it's Sirach 26:28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry, a man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such a one for the sword. All right, so that's the point we're dealing with here. A man of war that suffereth poverty. All right, they don't take care of their veterans. All right, they don't take care of their veterans. They don't seek their veterans' best interest at heart. All right, the veterans, these men, they go out, they fight these wars, and they come back all fucked up. That is where it is, man. So I had to bring it out as cool as that, because that is what it is. All right, we see it countless of times, numerous of times. All right, soldiers coming back with serious PTSD and what have you, so forth, and nothing, to really help them. All right, soldiers come back, they're so messed up in the head, they can't, they literally can't, reintegrate back into society, into civilian lifestyle and what have you, so forth, because there was nothing provided. Yeah, there was nothing provided. But let me tell you something. Our draft will have to take place. They will have to resort to that. All right, because at the ending of it all, prophecy has to be fulfilled. All right, prophecy has to be and will be fulfilled. World War III will commence. World War III it is imminent. It will take place. All right, and these are the measures in which the Lord is taking, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is taking, to muster up the host of the battle. All right, all these nations, they're gonna have full ranks. All right, within the various divisions and whatnot, so forth, within the military arm. All right, they're gonna have full ranks, because they're gonna call in these draft, and what have you, so forth, to replenish the ranks, man. All right, to keep the meat grinder grinding. Yeah, this is Joel. Let's go there. Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. All right, Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. As it reads, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. All right, and hey, this is what is going to take place. All right, these men is going to, the Lord is gathering these men. All right, the Lord is gathering these men, whether it be by voluntary service or whether it be by conscription. But nevertheless, they are being gathered. They will be gathered. All right. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. All right. We're seeing right now where these nations, they are all going into a war economy. All right. You're seeing an arms race taking place. All right. Yeah, this is what it is. This is what we're seeing. We in that time. All right. Verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Yeah? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Yeah, there is what it is. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is mustering the host of the battle. No mistake about it, no doubt about it. Alright? Despite the fact that they may be having that low turnout, that low recruitment rate right now. Alright, but they will have to force their hand in order to get that recruitment rate, up there, any numbers that they're looking for. Because they know they're going to war against Russia, and they know as where the army, the air force, the navy, where it stands right now, they are no match to Russia. All right, they are no match to Russia. They cannot compete with Russia. All right, even NATO on a whole, because, and the thing about it is not just Britain, you know. It's not just Britain going through that. All right, going through that situation of low recruitment rate and budget spending towards the military. The whole of NATO is in that crisis. All right, the whole of NATO is in that crisis. That is where it is. Yeah, the whole of NATO is going through that situation. All right, you know, hence the reason why your boy Nero 47 been very adamant that NATO should up their spending. All right, these NATO nations, all right, should up their spending and what have you, so forth, and that they shouldn't just lean on America continuously like that and what have you, so forth. You understand? Because it is putting a serious strain on their economy, you know. So this where it is. All right, just the other day, Germany put out a article, or however you want to put it, you know, that they very soon they will have to thing in a draft, you know, call a draft. All right, because they know what is coming. All right, they know what is coming. This whole situation with Ukraine, all right, Russia and Ukraine, and Ukraine being decimated, all right, and what have you, so forth, you know, it is forcing their hand. All right, it is forcing their hand, and they know even with all of these NATO nations combined, they're still not matching. All right, they're still not matching, and not only just in numbers, but weaponry, you know, arsenal, you know, that heavy arsenal of weaponry, you know, cutting edge technology within their weaponry and what have you, so forth, you know. Russia is way more advanced. All right, Russia is way more advanced, and you know, at the end of it all is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that is putting them in that position that they are in right now, you know. That particular nations could lean upon Russia, you know, to be that guard, to be that protector, you know, to get that, you know, reassuring military assistance. All right. So this is I'm continuing in our verse 14, where it reads, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. All right, which is what that valley of decision is speaking about the Middle East. All right, because there where World War III, you know, is going to, you know, culminate, you know, come into its ripe stage. All right, pursuant to let me see if I can get that. I will start from. Let me see. Bear with me. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12. All right, Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12, where it reads, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. All right, where's the river Euphrates? So it's situated in the so-called Middle East there. All right, so there's where it is. All right, there's where it is. The Lord is preparing that battleground for all these nations, all these militaries, these respective militaries to converge right there. All right, you know, to bring forth that battle of Armageddon. Let me see. That is I'll read verse 2. I'll have to read verse 12 and verse 13, Salakia, in order to get proper context of verse 14, where it reads, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs came out of the mouth of the dragon, which is America, all right, and out of the mouth of the beast, which is England, financial sector, the city state, because this is going to the three city states, which is America, which is Washington DC, America, all right, London, England, and the Vatican, all right, and out of the false prophet, which is the Vatican, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, all right, which is the witchcraft, which go forth unto the kings of the earth, all right, which go forth unto the kings of the earth, yeah, and the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Almighty. You understand? This is what it is. Yeah? This is what it is. Right? So these nations, get him, girl, get him. Get him. These nations, you understand? These nations, man, they all gonna converge there, man, in the Middle East, man. Alright? For Amagad 1, mountain of troops. Alright? So it can't get better than that, man. It can't get better than that. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is working his work. You understand? That's why when I go to Proverbs, I'm going too far. You're going too far, Biggs. Proverbs 21 and 1, where it reads, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will." Yeah. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai pondereth the heart. Alright, so Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is stirring up these nations, man. He's stirring up the leaders of these nations and what have you, so forth, and have them in a rhetoric of war, on a daily rhetoric of war. Alright, the latest, your boy Putin, alright, send out the message, hey, if NATO wants war, they can get it. But his words was, I promise you, alright, I promise you that when that war convene, when that war starts, alright, there will be no one to negotiate with. There will be no one to negotiate with, because the measures that he holds back, where Ukraine is concerned, he is not going to do that. He's not going to show such sentiment, or if you want to put it that way, onto NATO and America. They're going to get the full blast. They're going to get the full brunt of the Russian military, of the Russian firepower. They're going to get the full brunt. They're going to feel it. And they're going to feel it where it fucking hurts. Alright? This is what it is. Alright? Right now, at the moment, Britain is like a paper freaking tiger. Alright? They're like a paper tiger. They only be, if seeing that is the situation, they only being held up, they only being propped up actually by NATO, by the rest of NATO nations. Alright? This is where it is. For a nation that had so much pride within its military and all its military conquests over the years, to see that you reach a stage that you only could recruit 250 or something like that, so 200 and change in soldiers for the year. That speaks a lot. That's a shame. That's a shame. Alright? That's a shame. Hey, just what it was, Venezuela, this week, or sometime last week, or what have you, so forth. Venezuela, alright, pass out 5,600 and change soldiers, alright, recruits into the military, 5,000 and change. That speaks volumes. Alright? That speaks volumes for a nation that doesn't have the spending power as Great Britain, all right, and the vast technological advancement and weaponry and whatnot as Great Britain, all right, but you know they have men that is willing to fight. Hey, they're seeing what is taking place off the coast of Venezuela, all right, where America is gathering and surrounding them and whatnot, so forth. They are willing to fight. All right, it mightn't be on the grounds they're willing to fight for Maduro, but for the mere fact they know that their land is being invaded, they know that their land is about to be invaded, and they're willing to fight. They're willing to fight for every inch of soil. All right, this is what it is, for every inch of soil against imperialism, against the American imperialists. So that's a shame. That's a shame. That's a shame for America, man. I mean for Great Britain, man. Yeah? That's a shame. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's take a look at Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. Jeremiah 49 and 20. Jeremiah 49 and 20, excuse the noise on the background. Alright? Jeremiah 49 and 20, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom. Yeah, against Edom, against NATO, yeah, against Britain, against America, yeah, against the whole Edomite race. Alright? Because Esau, Edom, they are the ones that is ruling the earth right now. They are the one that is in rulership right now. And the Lord have a serious purpose of judgment that he's about to exact upon them, that he's about to carry out upon them. All right, so it says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, which is who? Which is these Ish people. All right, these small hearts, the big nose. Yeah, surely he shall make their habitat desolate with them. All right, and this is why all this is the reasons why they will have to have a draft. All right, because these Ish people is going to draw them out into a battle, into that great battle. All right, this is going to draw them out into that war. It says the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. All right, so just as how Babylon is going to fall over in the Middle East, all right, the whole of Esau, Edom, the whole of NATO, the whole of Britain, they're going to fall. All right, they're going to fall. All right, there's going to be no more rulership for these Edomites. Verse 22, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men, of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. All right, and we're seeing that right now. It's in its beginning stages. All right, proof of that. Hey, these men do not want to join the military. Hey, their own, as an Edomite itself. They don't want to join. Because again, as I said, all right, the people is being hip. All right, the word is going out. The Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is exposing, all right? Everything is being highlighted now, right? Because we in the age of the internet, we in that internet age, all right? So everything is is being exposed. The world is seeing, all right? The world is seeing that, hey, 9/11 was an inside job. You understand? The world is seeing that 9/11 was an inside job. The world is seeing that the war in Iraq was for oil. The world is seeing that the war in Iraq was for its oil and for its gold and what have you, so forth. The world is seeing that that the war that they waged against Gaddafi was for what? was to save the petrodollar, all right, to save the US dollar, all right, and to steal the oil and the gold and what have you, so forth, all right. The world is seeing the so-called white man for who he is, all right. So it says here, where I wanted to get at, actually, where I wanted was to get at Isaiah 34, actually. Isaiah 34. Alright, Isaiah 34 and 1, where it reads, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He had utterly destroyed them. He had delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood." Alright, and that mountain is not literal, but it's talking about the government, the governmental structures. The Lord is going to bring everything to a grinding halt. Alright, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is going to bring everything to a blatant stop. Alright, these nations are going to fall, especially Esau, Edom. All these nations is going to fall. But the one who is going to fall the hardest is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Alright, it says, verse 4, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved," which is their air force, alright, and the space force. "And the heavens shall be rolled together as a roll," alright, which goes into what? Which goes into the nuclear missiles, alright, that mushroom cloud. "And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." Yeah? Yahweh Hashem Yahshua has cursed these people to judgment. Alright? And their judgment is Obadiah 1 and 18. Go read it. Alright? Verse 6. "The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, with the blood of the lambs and the goats." Which the lambs represent the Israelites. Alright, the 2/3 Israelites, and the goats represent Esau, with the fat of the kidneys of the rams, right, which goes into the other nations. Alright, "For the Lord hath a great sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea," which is America. Alright, America. Alright, the new and revised capital city of Esau, Edom, is no longer ancient Mount Seir, which is now modern day Petra, Jordan. Now, their capital is what? America. Alright, they have spread their feathers, their wings, show the four corners of the earth. Alright, but their capital is America, Babylon the Great. Alright, Rome all over again. Alright, Rome 2.0. This is what it is. Yeah, this is what it is, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, he's doing his work, man. He's doing his work. And all these nations, man, they're gonna fall. But as I said, alright, the one that is going to fall the hardest is Esau, Edom. But hey, that's a total shame. That's an embarrassment. And you all want to go up against Russia? Against Russia? With a military of about 200, like I think. Let me see. Let me just go into this here. Let us just go into this here. What is the, let me see, standing number of Great Britain military. Okay, good. Now watch this. Watch this. Great Britain standing military regular forces, alright, regular forces, right, is around 137 to 180,000 personnel, with recent figures from early 2025 showing total personnel around 180,000, including reserves, while active regulars were close to 137,000 to 147, with ongoing recruitment and claims to increase numbers despite recent declines in overall force size as per. Now, let's do a comparison. Let's do a comparison with Russia. All right, so I had exaggerated it a bit. It's 1.5. All right, but I believe they would. I believe they have still more than 1.5. All right, so it says. All right, good. All right, so watch this. Watch this. Russia's standing military size is in flux due to recent expansions, but sources from late 2024 to early 2025 place its active personnel around 1.1 to 1.3 million Slovakia, with plans by President Putin to increase this to 1.5 by late 2024, aiming for the world's second largest active force after China. All right, because China has the largest military. All right, supplemented by about 2 million reserves. 2 million reserves, and Britain don't even have that. Britain not even. I don't even think they even have 500,000 within the freaking reserves. All right. And these are the reasons why they will have no choice but to call for a draft. All right? Because they know with the numbers that they have right now, they could not be able to put up a formidable force against Russia. They know this. They know this. Yeah? So that's why they will have to continue to print more money, to spend more money, you understand, to try the best to beef up the military to a formidable size to go up against Russia. All right? It says key figures late estimate active personnel one blah 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 blah. All right? Coming down here by the context here, it says expansion plan. Putin ordered troop number increase, aiming to boost the active force. Because the other day he had called a draft, yeah? To 1.5, making it this blah, blah, blah. Alright, so it says here, look, here, hybrid system. The Russian military combines conscripts, alright? Combines conscripts, mandatory 1-year service for males, with contract soldier volunteers. That's like your Wagner group, alright? And what have you, so forth. Alright, your contract soldiers, you know, the private military, the Wagner group. But what after the leader of Wagner had died, alright, Wagner has been dissolved, I would say. Dissolved. They had been integrated into the the Russian military. All right, and they the thing. A lot of the men that is fighting right now in Ukraine on behalf of Russia, all right, is not is a lot of them is of the Wagner group, all right, and then you know you have multinational forces, you know, because the Russians, they had given out contracts, they had sent you know, to hire men, you know, to come and fight on their behalf in Russia and what have you, so forth, of Russia in Ukraine, you know. So to put it all in a proper perspective, Russia ain't even really touch their full force of military, all right, to go to war in Ukraine. All right, a lot of their men haven't seen action yet. All right, but they will see it with this up and coming Third World War, you know. But it, you know, we dealing with the numbers here. All right, we dealing with the numbers here. All right, so it says here, Russia is often ranked as the second most powerful military globally by organizers behind only the United States. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to bring down United States, all right, by using Russia. That's prophecy. All right, that is prophecy. So, hey, I hope you all are edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right, but this is a shame on you, Britain. A shame. A shame. A shame. You all even have a good 200,000 men. All right. You all even have a good 200,000 men. I don't even know how much is the Air Force. But I feel that it's all combined with Air Force and Navy and what have you, so forth combined. Now 180,000. All right. I don't know. You know, but they ain't no match. They ain't no match. And right now these men and these soldiers within the Russian ranks, they are battle hardened. Yeah, they are battle hardened and ready to go. Ready to go. So hey, I hope you all are edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad. Alright. Signing out, saying Kal Halayam. La Allah Yanawa, Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakah Kodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Alright, double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom unto the brothers who preaching, teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth. Risking the life and the freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled blood along with the very few but faithful Akwat. Shalom.